You know, in the world of fiction, some authors build worlds. Others, they build monsters. But today, we're talking about an author who does both with just an absolutely explosive force, Andrew Joseph White. We're going to dig into how he constructs his monsters, and maybe more importantly, what they tell us about ourselves.
Okay, let's get one thing straight right from the jump. As one reader put it so perfectly, Andrew Joseph White is not interested in your comfort. Not at all. His work is brutal, it is visceral, and it is completely 100% unapologetic. It's really designed to get under your skin.
Which, makes you wonder, right? How did just one author manage to fuse body horror, queer rage, and social justice into something so powerful and, frankly, so necessary in the world of fiction today?
Well, to get the work, you first have to get the author. Andrew Joseph White is a New York Times best-selling author. He's also a trans, autistic, and bisexual man. And look, this isn't just a list of labels. His identity is the very lens he uses to craft these incredible YA horror and thriller stories. And his rise in the publishing world has been, nothing short of meteoric. Seriously. Kicked things off with his debut, Hell Followed With Us, in 2022. And since then, boom, a major release every single year, leading up to his first book for adults in 2025. That tells you just how much his voice is connecting with people.
All right, so let's dig into the heart of his work. We're going to start with his most powerful tool, his most potent metaphor, the monster that lives inside. So, White's main playground is body horror. And if you're not familiar, that's the genre that's all about the terrifying, often really graphic, transformation or violation of the human body. Think David Cronenberg, think The Fly. But White, he puts a really unique twist on it. And here it is. This is where he completely reframes the entire genre. He's explained that for his characters, that feeling of dysphoria, that intense discomfort with your own body, it comes from the way other people see you. So the horror isn't just that your body is changing. The real horror is being seen and judged by a world that just doesn't get it. In his debut novel, this parallel is it's undeniable. The main character, Benji, goes through this monstrous transformation, and it is a direct mirror of the trans experience. The violent, uncontrollable change, that's a dark reflection of transition or puberty. Feeling like a stranger in your own skin, that's gender dysphoria. The judgmental gaze of the cult that's hunting him, that's societal transphobia. And finally, reclaiming that monster, that's the power of embracing your true identity.
So yeah, in Hell Followed With Us, our hero Benji is running from this cult that literally injected him with a bioweapon. They call it the Seraph, and it's turning him into this horrifying, supposedly angelic being, a monster that he either has to learn to control, or it's going to completely consume him.
But that's just scratching the surface, because in Andrew Joseph White's world, the monsters aren't just inside of you. Oh no, they're systemic. His characters are never, ever just fighting some monster in a vacuum. They are fighting the oppressive systems that create these monsters to begin with. We're talking religious extremism, capitalism, generational trauma. The horror here is intensely political. Just look at a couple of his novels side by side. Hell Followed With Us dives deep into religious trauma with this terrifying eco-fascist cult. Then you have Compound Fracture, which shifts the fight to generational trauma and class warfare in rural West Virginia. The monsters look different, but the enemy is the same: corrupt systems of power. And trust me, he does not pull his punches. One reviewer literally called Compound Fracture a searing socialist manifesto. This isn't subtext, people, it's the text. His work is a full-on confrontation with the political and social structures he sees as monstrous. So if you're fighting these massive monsters, both inside yourself and out in the world, how on earth do you survive? Well, for White, the answer is always found in the power of community. In these brutal, totally unforgiving worlds he creates, nobody makes it out alone. The antidote to all that monstrosity and oppression is found family. For Benji in Hell Followed With Us, that salvation comes in the form of the Atchison LGBTQ+ Center, the ALC. This awesome ragtag group of queer teens who are all just trying to survive together. And the reason this theme is so central to his work, it's deeply personal. White said it himself in an interview. I want my characters to have the thing that I did not get as a kid.
He didn't have that queer community when he was growing up, so he builds one for his characters, right there on the page, giving them the support that he never had.
And that community provides so much more than just physical safety. It's acceptance when the whole world rejects you. It's a reason to keep fighting. It's proof that you are not the only monster out there. And maybe most importantly, it's a little flicker of hope that things can get better, even when it feels like the world is literally ending.
So all this brings us to the big question. Why do we need these monsters? Why are these stories so important right here, right now?
Well, the answer, in a word, is representation. White is putting queer, trans, and neurodivergent characters right at the center of genres like horror, thrillers, and sci-fi, places where, historically, they've been pushed to the side, or made into victims, or just erased completely. He's not just including them, he is making the story about them. He said that he tells the stories the world might not be ready for, precisely because he didn't have those stories when he was a kid. He's writing for his 16-year-old self and, really, for every other kid out there who has ever felt like a monster and has never, ever seen themselves as the hero of the story. And that brings us to this one final, perfect question someone asked him in an interview. A question that really gets to the absolute core of his whole philosophy. They asked, "In Hell Followed With Us, why doesn't the monster, Benji, turn back into a person at the end?" And his answer says it all, because turning him back into a person is the coward's way out. Think about that. To cure the monstrosity would be to invalidate the entire journey. It would betray the whole trans allegory. The point isn't to be fixed. The point is to be accepted and embraced and loved for exactly who you are, monster and all. So in the end, Andrew Joseph White's work challenges all of us to look at the parts of ourselves that society might have called monstrous, our identities, our rage, our otherness, and it asks a really radical question. What if those aren't things that need to be cured? What if they're actually sources of our greatest power? What monsters inside of you should you maybe learn to embrace?